Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest from Amaranthe, Manifest, out October 2nd on Nuclear Blast. The album has 12 tracks, 40 minutes in length, and this is the band's 6th full-length studio album. This is a very engaging record. I love the approach that they put together, really alternating styles, alternating construction of songs to really give you this roller coaster feel as you go into the record. When you're inside the record, when you're listening to this album, you really feel the changes from track to track. You really feel like you're going with ups and downs as you're moving along with all 12 songs on this record. When you take a step back, the overall structure of the record feels a lot different. It comes across in a much different way. It doesn't seem as dynamic. It seems like it's grouped and it has 3 different groupings. The beginning of the album is very consistent. It has this high octane approach. Then it dips in the middle. There's a huge stretch in the middle of the record that's more melodic, more melancholic, more mellow, if you will, more calm. The waters start to become a little bit calmer, and then it gets intense, it gets high octane again as you reach towards the last third of the album. So 2 peaks with a valley in between. That is the big picture when you take a step back and you look at how these songs work and the overall structure of the album. But when you're listening to the album, you don't necessarily feel that way as much. You really feel like the album is pulling you in different directions with every single song. So kudos to them for constructing an album that offers you these 2 different perspectives, these 2 different feels. The one that you can get from taking a look at it from far away, and the one that you have when you're actually in it and listening to this album from top to bottom. Love this dynamic. I love this approach. It just really plays well with this record, and it plays well with the choice of sound and the choice of songs that they picked for this album. Now, as far as sound is concerned, it's super eclectic. I was expecting that. This is Amaranthe. I was not really looking at an album that was going to have the same style, the same approach across all 12 songs. That's not the DNA of the band. That's not what they're known for. And this album is perhaps even a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more eclectic than what I was expecting. But they're able to unify the album by using a lot of the same elements on every track. It's just how much of those elements they use. So they're able to create songs that go in any direction that they want to go. The sound on this album offers a little bit of everything. You get 80s sound, you get pop elements, you get heavy melodies, you get more melodic, melancholic stretches. There's almost a little bit of everything. And that allows you to have a different experience with every single song on the album. You're either just listening to it and being mesmerized by the beauty of the track, by the sadness and darkness that the song has, or it makes you want to dance. Some songs just want to make you want to move, and then there's some songs that makes you want to headbang. So this is an album from a sound perspective that just goes everywhere. It just really shows you all the different facets of the band, shows you everything they can do, and shows you that they can do it well and still allow the album to not feel like it doesn't, that some songs don't belong there, that they're not in the right place. They have a very unique way of constructing a super eclectic, super diverse album and still feel like it's one album, that every song has its place there and every song is in the right spot. Vocally, nothing different there. As dynamic as the album is, as diverse as the album is from a musical perspective, is equally diverse and equally eclectic from a vocal perspective. But that, once again, is not a surprise. You have 3 different vocalists with 3 different distinct styles and approaches. On that basis alone, you're going to get a very dynamic approach as far as vocals are concerned. You're going to get a little bit of everything. Now, obviously, Elise gets a little bit more of the main stage. She's perhaps the stronger beacon of the 3, but I felt overall across all 12 tracks, it's pretty well balanced. This is perhaps one of the records where she's not depended upon as much as previous albums. I really felt that the workload was divvied up across all 3 vocalists fairly well across all 12 tracks. Obviously, she's always going to get a little bit more of a presence. She's always going to get a little bit more of attention, and a lot of that has to do with her range, with her incredible voice, and what you can build around it. But overall, when I look at all 12 tracks, I felt that this is perhaps the most equally divided record as far as vocal approach is concerned, and as far as how much you use your 3 vocalists in the band. Overall, I really enjoyed this album. It's a lot of fun to listen to, super enjoyable. I love the diversity that it offers. It really makes the record, it doesn't break it. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with Fearless. That's the opening track on this album, and it packs a musical punch. It's not necessarily a super heavy track, but there is some bite to the guitars, and there is some bite to the overall style and approach that this song has. I love it. Perhaps more in the verses is definitely more noticeable. The heaviness of the track is definitely more noticeable, more pungent, if you will, in the verses than it is in the chorus. It just packs a bigger punch. You could feel that's a lot more, there's a lot more volume surrounding the track in the verses that makes the song slightly heavier. Also, having a lot more harsh vocals in the verses adds to that feeling of heaviness. They're still present in the chorus, but they're just kind of like sprinkled in the chorus, so they really don't change how melodic and how bombastic the chorus is. But they really add a heaviness because they're used a lot more in the verses. So you really have these two distinct worlds. The song is really divided between verses and chorus because the two are really worlds apart as far as the vocals and how they use them, and also the sound of the track. But overall, I felt that this was the best song of all of the 12 tracks on the album to open up the record with, because it gives you a synopsis of everything you're going to get on this album, musically and vocally. Everything that you're going to get from this record is present in this song in little bits and little pieces. Next, Crystalline. I love this track. Beautiful, haunting track, both musically and vocally. Just absolutely dark, melancholic, an incredible duet, a beautiful duet. It's a stripped down song. It really allows the vocals for both vocalists to really shine and show their full potential and show their full range. But it's a song that you cannot walk away from it without touching, without pulling at your heartstrings. The lyrics are beautiful, the delivery of those lyrics is outstanding, and the overall song is just really one of the main beacons of this album. This track comes in that middle part of the record where the intensity drops a little bit, where the album becomes a lot more darker, a lot more melancholic, a lot sadder, if you will, where the softer tracks all reside in that world, and this one is the beacon of all of them. It's just outstanding. I love the duet. I love how the two vocalists take turns in the first verses and in the first two choruses, and then in the last chorus they come together, just really elevating the track, making it almost very cinematic because of all the orchestration that's built into it. This almost feels like a soundtrack to a movie. It just has all these key ingredients that you get out of a Disney duet, out of almost a love song, if you will. I just love how this song is put together, and I love that you get the full potential of both vocalists and their full display as far as their range is concerned. Last but not least, Boom. This is the heaviest song on the record, and this song surprised me on a vocal side and on a musical side. On the musical side, a lot of electronic elements are present in this song, but that's not what surprised me, because that to me, it just was part and parcel with this album and what I was expecting out of this record. But the more metalcore and hardcore elements really shocked me with this track, because there's no other song on this album that uses those elements. There's no other song on this album that really blends those two genres to really create a heavy track. Like I said, both musically and vocally, it just feels different. It almost doesn't feel at times like an Amaranthe song, but they still included enough of those pop melodies in there to still have the DNA of the band intact within the track, but just surrounding it with a lot of heaviness musically and a lot of heaviness vocally. Even vocally sounds more like a hardcore metalcore song, so it matches well with the style that they took as far as the music is concerned. It's just a song that packs a huge punch. Definitely the heaviest track on the album, and this one is the one that kicks off that last third of the record. So after you go down that valley with the more melodic, melancholic songs, this one opens up the gates and it really shoots the record back up to the top with all the intensity and aggression that this song carries. Like I said, definitely the heaviest song on the album, and one that really shocked me, because once again, the way they put these elements together, nothing led me to believe that there was going to be a song like this on the record. But they did a wonderful job. I really love those hardcore metalcore elements coming to life with an Amaranthe spin on it. So really interesting approach, really interesting song. This is it. This is Amaranthe with Manifest, once again out October 2nd on Nuclear Blast. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.